heard someone say at every corner that I know my rights. Yes, we all do have rights as human beings. But the question is, how much do you know of your rights? Are you sure that you're able to make use of these rights? Are you sure that you don't let anyone or someone oppress you every now and then? The truth is, we suffer from oppression at every corner, at every turn, be it at our workplaces, homes, neighborhoods, and you can name them. But this afternoon, there is one wonderful lady who suffered from these rights abuses. And she told herself, no, this thing is not supposed to be a norm. I have to do something to make sure that I don't just exercise my rights, but I teach others to know their rights so that they can be able to exercise this right. She is called Tida Ndicha, and she is a peace builder, a gender and human rights advocate, not forgetting the fact that she's an artist. This afternoon, she's going to be telling us her story, and I can assure you it's going to inspire you. Good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. As always, when it's 12:30 from Monday to Friday, you're watching the program Midi Live on Sierra TV et au cœur de la nation. On va retrouver l'artiste et aussi la personne qui va nous cuisiner quelque chose de spécial cet après-midi, mais ça serait juste après la transition. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, then you haven't missed much. Just time for us to check out the kitchen because there was a young lady there, and I would say this is her first time on the program. She is called Tatiana Bachi, c'est ça le nom? Ok, Barik, pardon, excuse-moi. Salut Tati.
Salut.
Comment tu vas?
Très bien.
Ok, et qu'est-ce qu'on va manger cet après-midi?
On va manger du rognon avec des pommes sautées.
Ah, okay.
On va sauter le rognon accompagné des pommes.
Oui, et pour cela, on a besoin de quoi?
On a besoin du poivron, de l'ail, de la tomate, un piment jaune pour parfumer un peu.
Oui.
De l'ail, du sel et du poivre
blanc. Ok, ça c'est du l'ail écrasé?
Oui, écrasé déjà.
Ok.
Et du poivre blanc.
Et ça va nous prendre à peu près combien de temps?
15 minutes.
15? Oui. Oh mon Dieu, ça veut dire qu'avant le milieu de cette émission, on va commencer déjà à manger. Ouais, ok, merci beaucoup Tati. On va te laisser à la cuisine pour dire bonjour et bienvenue à notre invitée de cet après-midi, comme je vous ai dit. Elle s'appelle Tida Ndicha. Good afternoon to you, Mom.
Good afternoon.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here this day, and especially on the third day of a new year.
Oh no, and I know this is your home. When was the first time you came to CRTV?
Oh, a long time ago. I think that was in 2009.
Okay.
When I came here as an artist.
Yes.
On the Monday show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was when I started off that journey with CRTV, and ever since then I've always been here for one program or the other.
Wow, and about 13 years later, you're still here with us. I want to say a big thank you for all the contribution that you've been bringing on this station. I'm talking about CRTV. This afternoon, we're certainly going to talk about you, and most importantly, what you do as a woman, as a lady. But before that, you're an artist, so you're obviously going to be a sucker for music.
Yes.
But what kind of music do you like? Because I know you're more into the folkloric kind of music.
Yeah, I sing folklore, but I like music across the board.
Yes.
And for me, music to me is something that touches the soul in different dimensions. Perfect. So whether it's zouk, it is South African rhythms, it's Swahili, it is Njang, it's Makossa. It depends on the context, and I just enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Et cet après-midi, nous avons avec nous, comme d'habitude, Rostan Toti, qui va commencer avec quelle chanson? Et d'abord, bonjour Rostan.
Bonne année, Bonne.
Merci, bonne année à toi.
La grippe, maman.
Ok, il ne faut pas que tu m'aimes maintenant, quand même, dans 50 ans, ça peut aller.
Oui, pour même plus.
Oui.
Ok, on va faire une chanson de Michel Sardou. On va chanter l'amour, parce que c'est bien de commencer l'année avec l'amour. Donc cette chanson, c'est pour tous ceux qui ont le cœur qui bat. Elle court la maladie d'amour dans le cœur des enfants de 7 à 77 ans. Elle chante La rivière insolente qui unit dans son lit les cheveux blonds, les cheveux. Elle fait pleurer les femmes et s'agrandit le monde. Elle fait parfois souffrir tout le long d'une vie. Elle fait pleurer les hommes aussi. Elle fait crier dans l'ombre. Mais le plus douloureux, c'est quand ton nom guérit. Elle court la maladie d'amour dans le cœur des enfants de 7 à 77 ans. Elle chante la rivière insolente qui unit dans son lit les cheveux blancs, les cheveux. Elle surprend l'écolière sur le banc d'une classe par le charme innocent d'un professeur d'anglais. Elle foudroie dans la rue, oh, oh, cet inconnu qui passe et qui n'oubliera plus ce parfum qui volait. Elle court la maladie d'amour dans le cœur des enfants de 7 à 77 ans. Elle chante la rivière insolente qui unit dans son lit les cheveux blancs, les cheveux.
Merci beaucoup, Rostan, pour cette chanson. And I want to believe that everyone has loved or continues to love at one point or another in their lives. It can be the filial, the agape, or the eros love. But I always say that I prefer the filial and the agape love. I think it's more real than when we start getting into the eros love and then you start having people being served breakfast every now and then. And worse still at times with sardine, yeah. You have your heart broken into 1,000 pieces and it becomes very frustrating at the end of the day. So if you're in love, you can ride on. But if you haven't yet fallen in love, maybe you should wait for some time before doing so. But back to our guest of this afternoon, I want to say she's Mama Tilda. And she just told her that she's doing well. But I want to find out about the four children. How are they doing?
Oh, they're great. I'm a grandmom.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Congrats.
I have 2 grandsons. And the 4 children are doing well. Actually, I have 5 because I have an adopted daughter.
Okay.
Who was given to me when I was just getting married. So she too has 3 children. Therefore, I have 5 grandchildren. And
aren't you blessed?
Yes, the last one who was 2 when the father died. She's a big woman now. She's really a grown woman. So they are doing well, and I'm happy and thankful to God because I never could do that.
Exactly, it's only by the grace of God.
Yes.
Being a widow and living, and your husband leaving behind 4 children, it's very, very difficult to be able to manage.
Extremely.
But what have you been up to, let's say, for some time now, for the last couple of years, or since last year?
Oh, since last year, I run an NGO, and so since last year I've been into school-related gender-based violence.
Okay.
And also at a personal level, I do coaching, and I run a Facebook page they call Moments with Tilda, where I try to coach people on different issues and just trying to put back something to this earth before I leave. And so I also do music, so I am always in the studio at one time or the other. Sometimes I spend a night there because that gives me a lot of joy. And why not? Just interacting with people is one of my hobbies, and I love doing it.
I would say you're very, very busy.
Yeah.
But now talking about the busy woman, the busy person that Mommy Tilda has become today, it all started somewhere in Bello-Com.
Yeah.
So let's hear about the little girl in Bello.
Oh, Tilda the little girl. Some years back, when Tilda was born into a family of, I was the first child.
Okay.
And we were, at the end of the day, we were 4 of us, 2 boys and 2 girls. Unfortunately, the 2 boys are all gone. But the 2 girls are still here, and we thank God for that. I grew up in Bello. Bello is a small place, but a very beautiful place, because my father was a businessman. And so I grew up at that time in a place where there was a bit of life, because he owned stores and he was selling fabric. And so I grew up there, and as a little girl in those days, little girls did not have so much to gain from life, because of the different traditional practices and beliefs, different gender stereotypes. So at the time I got to primary 7, at the time we were still getting to primary 7, and I had to go to college. It was not possible for me to go to college. Why was it not possible? Because at that time they thought that girls were only good for marriage. They were good to be babysitters and stuff. And so with that societal influence, my father thought that as a girl you have to stay back and just be there. But my mom, who is my role model, my mom,
by the way, we are saying hello, good afternoon, Mama Juliana.
Yes, my mom, who is a role model to me and many other women who know her, she was a woman who had suffered the same fate. Because she's a girl, she was forced to take care of her junior ones, and while others went to school. So she kept it at the back of her mind. And when she was blessed by God with 2 daughters first, she had that hidden fight that I would not let these children go like me. So she decided that I'm going to do everything for these girls. So when this whole thing of me not going to college came up, my mom, I must say, she's a very wise woman. She has a lot of wisdom. She kept taking me to the farm, and I was like, this woman, you are supporting this thing? But I didn't know she had her agenda. And her agenda was to have a meeting with me, discuss with me, and plan with me. So one day we were sitting in the farm, and we had a break. We sat down to eat. And she said, look, Tilda, I want us to discuss. And I said, what are we discussing? She gave me her discussion point. Her discussion point was, since the whole world is saying that as a girl, you have to get married. Since the whole world thinks that you must get married as a girl, we think that I think that is a good thing. And at the same time, I think I should not have problems with my husband. So I would do everything for you to go to college. But I hear college is for 5 years. So after 5 years, you will get married. And I said, no, but college doesn't end at 5 years. She told me, yes, you will get married and you will continue as a married woman to go to school.
Wow.
And we actually agreed, and I was so innocent. The only driving force that drove me was the fact that I want to go to school.
That's it.
Yes, I didn't know any other thing, but I wanted to go to school. So I said, okay, yes, that's fine. And we agreed.
And that's exactly what happened, because after school, that was the only time you left Bello.
Yes.
After secondary school,
after secondary school when I got married. In fact, I remember the day I went to secondary school.
Okay.
My mom gave me a small box, wooden box. I carried. I was going in front because the school was not far from our home.
Yes.
And she was coming behind. It was in the evening. We just came back from the farm. And I went to school. I met very many big girls in school. My mom said, no, if you are coming to meet big women like this, I will take you back. I said, no, I'm in school. I have to stay.
That's it.
So, but then after 5 years, fast forward 5 years after, on my graduation day, fortunately, and maybe God's plan, divine plan, somebody saw me because I was a school choir conductor.
Okay.
And they saw me from there, and that is how I got a man to get married. Honestly, I never knew what marriage was all about.
Normally.
But I only had to please my mom and then continue with my education. That was my focus.
That's it.
So I got married, and then I continued to high school as a married woman. And my mom made sure that I always went to school. I went through secondary school, high school. I had my first children while I was in high school, and then I went to university. 7 years after, boom, the worst happened, and he died.
Yeah, because when we think about you just leaving from secondary school, and getting married immediately. Adding 7 years to that, I don't think that you were that matured when your husband died.
I was 25.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the problem, I would say, the crux of the matter is when he died.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you are this young girl who has been taken away from home, already a mother, and then you lost your husband. And as usual, we're talking about the African context, we're talking about the Cameroonian context. At that time, it was all about the beliefs, the traditional practices, what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do as a widow. I think the story will continue, but that is going to be after listening to another song from Rustan Toti.
From the day that I met you, girl, I knew that you loved me. Everything that I ever wanted in my life. From the moment you spoke my name, I knew everything has changed. Because of you, I feel my life will be complete. Oh baby, I need you. From the rest of my life, girl, I need you to make everything right, girl. I love you, and I never deny that I need you. Nothing matters but you, my love, and only God above could be the one to know exactly how I feel. I can dive in your eyes right now, knowing that you somehow will take my soul and keep it deep inside your heart. Oh baby, I need you. From the rest of my life, girl, I need you to make everything right, girl. I love you, and I never deny that I need you. Girl, your love to me felt just like magic. When you smile, you have total control. You are power on nothing I felt before. I can have all my feelings shows, cause I want you to know that I need you. Let me hear you say I need you, girl, in my life, girl. I need you to make everything right, girl. I love you, baby. I love you, baby. Girl, I need you, girl, I need you, need you. And me, I love you. Oh, I want to marry me. Want to marry me. Want to marry me. Oh, want to marry me. Want to marry me. Want to love me. Oh, 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 I need you. I need you, money.
Thank you. Yeah, it's obviously the start of the year and we certainly need too many things. But the problem is, what do you need? What do you wish for? What do you want? Because there's a difference between what you wish for, what you want, and what you actually need. And so I believe that this year we should need instead of just wanting or just wishing, because at times our wishes are so tall that I begin to ask myself, can God really, really grant this wish? Not because he can't, but because there is no need for him to grant these wishes. And that's why we should please ask God for what we need and not what we wish for. We are still talking to Mommy Tilda this afternoon, and she was just telling us about the fact that she lost her husband 7 years after, leaving her with 4 kids, and the last was just 2 months old. So, Mommy, tell us, what was the treatment you got as this very young widow?
And this, what I'm saying is to encourage a woman out there. Because many young women find themselves wanting due to the abrupt death of their husbands. And then they find themselves amidst lots of violations, lots of provocations. At that time, I was very young, and I had, you could just see this young lady who is single. Nobody knew, I must say that it happened at the prime of my life, when many people had not known that I was married. They had hardly ever seen me pregnant, because I got married and I went up to Nkambe and Ako. And then they just saw me with children. They just saw this young girl who was just moving around. So many people, society gave me so many names. Oh, she killed her husband, if truly her husband died. Oh, she's a prostitute. Oh, she is that. I remember in the early 90s when my husband just died, and then we started off with this whole thing of women's empowerment. And I thought that it is very, very important. It will be important for me to engage in women's empowerment so that I can be able to be part of this whole dynamics and see how I can help other girls. Because I was like, there was a day I asked my mom, when I was born, was I ever practicing witchcraft? Because there are certain things they say about me, I don't know. Yes, I don't know where I do them. So maybe I do these things without knowing. And my mom was like crying, why do you say this? I said, because the accusations are too many. There was a day I stood at the market in Queen Park there, and some people were really just busybodying about me, saying that she is pregnant, she is this, and I was standing there. Innocent me, that I tapped and said, are you talking about this, Tilda? They're scattered. So I thought that it is important. Those days, we started with the celebration of the International Women's Day. And as a young girl, we used to carry food, go beg women from their homes to come out in Bamenda and march. And for me, I had only one focus. We need to educate the woman so that we should go beyond all these accusations. These accusations should not be, they should be stepping stones for us to prevail. So I had this drive. I remember one day, when my husband just died, and we were sitting in the house, and one of my sisters came to sit by me, and some older lady came and touched her and said, are you ripe to sit here? Then she turned and asked, what makes me ripe to sit here? They asked her, has your husband also died? She said, but my sister's husband died. Where did she sit before her own husband died?
That is it.
That statement touched me deep, deep, deep. Why should society say that another woman cannot console another one because her husband has not died? So where did I go wrong? What happened before my own husband died? Did I sit with someone whose husband had died? So all of this gave me the drive to become a human rights defender, to work on gender issues, to see how I can break the barriers, break stereotypes, build the capacity of women, for women to know that it doesn't end there.
That's it.
As a woman, you have to work to put back something to this earth. And when I talk about women's empowerment, I mean being empowered such that even your husband feels your empowerment. Because most of us women want to be empowered, but we don't show the empowerment. Women who work money, they hide it in their wrappers. They don't want to do something for their homes. An empowered woman should be a Proverbs 31 woman. A woman whose family rises up and calls her blessed. A woman who can contribute, who can be a support system to the husband. I always ask a question. I have a stupid question I always ask. We call women, first ladies. When a woman is a president, where is the man? why are we not also projecting the man? Because I think that just as we women lean on men to project us, we should not develop an overrated self-image to think that, well, I am big because my husband has money, he is a minister, he's a president, he has this or that. We should be those people who are striving to become people, so that our husband should proudly say, look, my wife is this kind of person, so your husband can also lean on you, your children can lean on you. For me, that is empowerment. That is what I see.
It's not all about equality.
It's not. Equality here is equal chances.
That's it.
Equality to me is equal chances, that we are all human beings, we have inalienable rights, we are born equal in the image of God. That to me is equality. Equity comes in there where we are giving fair treatment to everyone. But being equal that I want to become a man, no.
It cannot even work.
I proudly would like to remain a woman.
Yes.
In my own right as a woman, beautifully and wonderfully created as the last creation of God.
Oh yes.
So I
you
like to remain
everything that was remaining.
I want to remain a woman proudly and do what women do. So I am calling on women, no matter the challenges you have, if I could do it, you can do it. No matter the challenges you have, step over your challenges and become a reference point to the world. Encourage other women, build other people, put back something to this world before you leave, because all of us were on a journey. Nobody knows when their journey stops. So while you are in that train of this journey, you have to struggle to be a blessing to your children, to your husband, to your family, to your immediate environment, to your community, and why not to your church and to your country. That's what should make you be an empowered woman. And you cannot be an empowered woman when you want to pay back what you went through. Because if I had to pay back what I went through, I would not be where I am today. An empowered woman moves above the hurts that you went through. You put them behind and you move on.
That's it.
So an empowered woman should be that woman who has the drive to do what is right, who has the drive to encourage people. An empowered woman does not stay on the stage. What I mean there is that some of us who have been on stage for some time, we have to be shifting, creating space for the younger women, so that they too can come up, and then we become advisors. We become consultants. We become reference points. But you cannot remain on stage and think that another young woman will come up there.
By the way, someone left the stage before you could climb on it. So why do you want to stay there?
My belief, my view of life is such that God has made the world so big, so wide, and there's space for everyone.
Thank you.
And everyone can fit in if you want to fit in, except that you want to block others. Because when you are blocking others, you end up blocking yourself. You end up blocking
unconsciously.
yourself. So I really believe that we women, no matter the hurts, no matter what society thinks of us, no matter what gender dictates of us, no matter what the community says about us, we can still be in our right, very strong human beings, and we can become reference points in the world and make the world a better place to live in.
Thank you very much. And talking about women, there is one in the kitchen, Tati. Qu'est-ce qui se passe à la cuisine? Ah, ok. Ah, c'est déjà presque prêt. Ok. Mais qu'est-ce que tu as ajouté? Parce qu'on voit, c'est tellement coloré. Quoi et quoi sont... Oui.
Il y a le poivron, ça qui est vert, et la tomate.
Ok.
Qui donne un peu de couleur, et beaucoup d'oignons.
Wow. Et pourquoi beaucoup? Parce que quand tu as ici...
J'aime pas tout que la sauce est trop rouge.
Oui.
Il donne trop de tomates, j'aime pas trop.
Okay.
Je préfère mettre beaucoup d'oignons pour atténuer la couleur. La tomate,
merci beaucoup. Pour les gens qui ont souvent la sauce trop rouge, Tati est en train de nous dire aujourd'hui que mieux les oignons que la tomate. C'est ça, non?
Oui.
Merci beaucoup. Mom, by the way, what do you love eating? I know you can cook everything. What do you love eating?
In fact, I'm such a traditionalist.
Okay.
I love eating fufu corn.
That's your traditional dish, right?
Yes, I can eat fufu corn from the 1st to the 31st, but I also do not hate any food.
Okay.
I am adventurous, so I like to taste all kinds of food.
Yeah.
I like to eat vegetables. I like to eat different mixture of vegetables, like salad, for example. Like what she is preparing is very attractive already.
Yes.
Because I think that, you know, even though we have our staple foods, the world is evolving, and we are in a global village where we can always learn from one tradition to the other. And Cameroon is such a beautiful country because of the different backgrounds that we have, the different ethnic groups that we have, so different cultures, different foods, different music. So I just enjoy being part of this country.
A country of variety. We have just a lot of variety. But now we can talk about you as a peace builder, a gender and a human rights activist, or I should say advocate. And all this, if you listened to her correctly, it started with her mom, who decided that her daughter was not going to end at primary 7. And then it continued with her experiences after she lost her husband as a widow. And today, Mom, tell us, what have you been able to do as far as your advocacy is concerned?
Some years back, when I had the opportunity to study and go outside, out of the country and study gender and development issues, when I came back here, it was so difficult for me to get a job. Why? Because everywhere I went to, they asked for at least 3 years of experience.
And someone asked, not cutting you short, someone asked, how do you get the experience if you're not given the opportunity to gather this experience?
In fact, at one point I said, there is no university where people learn experience. So how do I get this experience? And it actually had a toll on me. It had a toll on me because it burdened me, it bothered me that how on earth can we get this experience? So for that reason, I said, okay, let me delve into a place where many people will not think of. So around the early 2000s, I started off an NGO. In fact, at that time, I had just studied mediation in conflict. So I started off an NGO, and the name at that time was MICOD, Mediators in Conflict and Development. But then I discovered that it was not reaching my goal. That is how I moved from MICOD to Gender Empowerment and Development. In fact, after MICOD, there was Global Education and Environment Development, which was still GED. But we evolved to Gender Empowerment and Development. And Gender Empowerment and Development, my original idea was to create space where young people can come, interact for some time, get certificates, and they can have all this whole thing of experience, 3 years experience. Where do you get them? So that is how we started. We were having only volunteers, and at the time God blessed me because I worked with UNDP, and then I started working like an international consultant, doing training, traveling all over the world. And that little money I got was running the NGO and then giving opportunity for young people to gain experience. And today, Gender Empowerment and Development is a big organization. We have about 12 workers, and we are working with over 120 schools in Cameroon in 5 regions.
Mom, we're going to just stop there because it's very important what you're going to say after this, especially the work that you've been doing in schools and you continue to do. But again, as we say, it's all about empowerment, and we are quite empowered on this set this afternoon because you have 4 women, just a man. So you begin to understand that the women have forgotten about the equality, whatever, but now we are thinking about empowering ourselves, because if you're not empowered, you cannot empower others. And this afternoon, Ruth Angel has just joined us, and she's going to be telling us, is it about white chinoiserie? Is that what you're going to be talking about?
Chinoiserie in general.
Okay. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. But I should just say I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's very beautiful.
Maybe our young girl in Douala.
Yes, and my guess is it was inspired from the chinoiserie. Because when people talk about chinoiserie, I know most of you are lost, but stay tuned. You're going to enjoy what I'm going to talk about. Because it has the flowers and the designs and the embroidery. And you can relate it to wallpapers. Yes, the wallpaper design. So that's where I'm coming from. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Did I say Happy New Year?
No, you didn't. Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh, my bad. Happy New Year to you. And Happy New Year to all of you watching. Happy New Year, and trust you're doing great wherever you are. But this afternoon, we'll be dwelling on chinoiserie. I know the name sounds very French to you, but yes, it is French, meaning chinoise, which you can tell me to Chinese. But now most of you, when we say Chinese in the market, you think about fake. No,
And the very low class.
and the very low class, like, oh, it's just for the poor, those who cannot really afford anything. But mind you, this chinoiserie is meant for rich merchants, the rich people. But now dwell in a bit about the history, because most often than not it's referred to decorative art. You have architects, you have textile, you have furniture, and it is inspired by China now and other East Asian countries that you can find around China. In the 1600s, its interest in China designs took off. That's when you began to see little interest. It had to do with textile, like I earlier mentioned, furniture, but rather it did not have to do with all about that. It had to do with tea from China. And now the tea was being imported from China, but their cutleries and all of their sets, the China tea sets, were being imported. Now when I talk about the China tea sets, you know, the small, very little tea sets where you have so many of them in different designs and different decor. Now in order to change all of these, now a diluted interpretation of these designs on the teacups was what we are terming today as chinoiserie. Now, if you look at them carefully, what's on your screen, you see vases. Those are decorative arts. Now, you see flourish designs. You know, China people love how their temples as well as their houses are built. You see those beautiful designs there. That is what artists determined, or what they thought China looked like. So they would have them imprinted on decorative arts, and there you go. People started buying it and saying that was China. That was a representation of China. For those of you who love cartoons, Mulan was one of those things. Now, Louis XVI became so enamored with all of this design, and he had to really build a Tranon de Porcelain. It's a building beside his castle in 1670, Tranon de Porcelain. I know if you are a great fan of French history, you know that the Tranon de Porcelain was built for his mistress, and it's because he became enamored by the beautiful chinoiserie that was presented to him. And in the 19th century, it was this chinoiserie easily fell out because it was termed as new money. It was being associated with those who had new money. When I talk about the new money, we talk about the merchants, because there was a lot.
Those who just came into wealth.
There was a lot of trading, and so those who really made money at that period were the merchants. So it really fell out. You know, something like, why did it fall out? Because you have the aristocratic people, you have the elite, and they'll feel like, oh, this just made new money because of trading. So
as far as you're not a blue blood, you're not accepted.
You're not accepted. So that's why it fell out. But you know, one thing about trends, it always do come back. So the trends came back during the Art Deco period. It came roaring back very, very strong. Now you could not only find them in teacups, but you could as well, outside the realm of interior decoration, fashion designers began to adopt it and incorporate an element of chinoiserie into their clothing, using now what we have. She has the floral print, but it has a bit of sequin to it, a bit of bling bling, or some dazzling effect to it. Yes, that is how designers began to incorporate all of this floral design. It felt like they took off a wallpaper and just transformed into a beautiful dress. Now, it's also inspired the traditional silhouette of Asian outfits. You know, the Japanese outfit that has two slits by the side. You always see a flourished, beautiful design and all of that.
In very bright colors.
Very bright colors.
Extremely bright.
Pink, red, Bordeaux, and all of that.
Outstanding colors.
Yes, very outstanding, like the red you're wearing. It's very outstanding this afternoon. Now, it still lives up present to the 21st century, because in 2015, you know about the Met Gala event, the Met Ball in the United States of America. It's an event where every year the pick a theme, and celebrities work and designers work with that term. Recently Kim Kardashian came out like a mermaid, and so the other time Rihanna presented, she came out like a pope, and the other time was Lady Gaga, who came out like a meat ball, and another time she was like an egg. So that's the Met Gala. There was a year in 2015 the Met Gala said we are going to be exhibiting China, and you could see China in all its glamour, China in all what it represented. The theme was exhibit China through the looking glass. Now you could go back in time, or you could represent China of the now. That was in 2015. But fashion designers still love to dabble with all of these beautiful designs. That's why you have Gucci's Alexandre Michel. He had a spin recently to his design, to his creation, and in 2017 on the runway he wowed all of fashion lovers and people who are still really blown by new designs when it comes to fashion season. That was in 2017, and presently it remains one of the very most interesting chapter in history. So now when they talk about and getting into a shop to buy chinoiserie, please do not focus it to fake items or to the low class items, but know that these vases cost millions and millions, especially the original ones, and inspiration can come from anywhere. As designers, this is your season. You have weddings, you have birthdays, you have celebrations. You can maybe impress your employer by maybe picking such a design for them, and yes, they'll be carried away and say, yes, you did.
Oh, really? Anyways, that's a great idea, but you should know which employer or boss you're covering something like that too, because
I'm sure Mom Tilda wouldn't mind if
No,
she can
obviously,
wear
sure.
something
She wouldn't.
as beautiful as this. Definitely she wouldn't mind for you to dare a little, but some people are always so direct and strict, so please stick to what they want.
stick to what they're familiar with and what you're accustomed.
But creativity is a very wonderful thing that people don't know. You know, when you are creative, you dream into the wild world, and you get to develop
no
many
end
things
to
that are good.
creativity. There is no end, because at times people say you cannot create every day, but I think that the more you create, the more you get inspiration, and you can go on and on and on. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Thank you,
and I believe that at every point, I mean, no matter how expensive your outfits have been and continue to be, you have certainly put on something from China. And I want to say that they have very quality stuff. If you want to go for the lowest of classes, then that's you. It doesn't mean that all what comes from China is of low class.
The good thing about items from China is that everyone can find its peak from it.
They're gender sensitive. They take care into consideration everybody.
The rich, the poor, the middle class, they do consider them. Not only those exquisite and expensive things that you call them high class fashion, if you care.
But at the same time, Ruth, this afternoon we are talking about, I would say, gender-based violence. Our rights, human rights as humans, first of all, and then as women, because they say that when it comes to rights, most often than not, the rights of women are being trampled on. But let's not forget, every now and then, women are trampling on the rights of men. So let's try not to be self-centered and say only women, women, women. Because every time that we mention the word gender, we only think about the women. We don't think about the men.
And one thing I tell people, and I tell especially the men, is that most men don't complain. That is why their issues are quiet. But the degree of violation that men go through is very high.
I feel it's because society has taught them to man up, suck it up, and stay quiet.
That's why when a man's mother dies, or father, or child, or wife, he will not cry, because why you cry like a woman? Come on, it's human.
But I don't understand.
He's human. He can
every day, every minute, every second, we talk about society. The question is, who is society?
My friend one time lost the mom. He could not cry. He would go into the bathroom, come out with water on him and say he was feeling heat, but he was actually trying to mask the tears. And I told him, I said, hey boy, cry. burst out.
You are a human
human.
being.
Yeah.
You know,
Let out the
society,
emotion.
the thing is that, let me say, societal dictates has made the world to be artificial.
That's it.
Very.
In this world, when God created man, masculine, that was the one thing that God discovered was not good. Because after 6 days, he discovered that this man was not happy. The chickens, birds, everything was flying and happy, but man, human, was not happy. And then he said there was a mistake. That is why he decided to create woman to balance the world. And if we know that man and woman balances the world will be a beautiful place to live.
That's it.
Yeah.
That would mean that you will not talk about your rights without thinking of your obligations. Many people claim their rights, but they don't know that you have obligations. For example, if you buy books, you pay school fee for your child, you provide his school needs, that is the child's right. But the child has an obligation, which is your own right,
results.
to bring good results, to take care of the school things.
Yeah.
But most often we are clamoring, we clamor for our rights. Oh, I have rights. You have rights, yes. Where are your obligations? I'm always asking people, if you say that this country is violating your rights, how much obligations are you giving to the country? We need to balance the world.
Are you deserving of those rights?
We need to balance the world.
Are you deserving of
what
them
you want.
providing for you? Are
Yeah.
you?
It's just crazy, but I want to believe that, Ruth, you have had situations where you thought someone trampled on the rights that you have so much, or you need so much, and you value so much. Have you ever faced anything?
Yes, I have, especially when you feel that you can really give in your best and you are not given the opportunity to put out your best. And I asked that, how do you evaluate me then when I am not given the opportunity to put out my best? Another part is some women are very manipulative.
Yeah.
The kind of see your weakness as maybe something where you can't speak out, and they use that because you're someone who always cry, who always care for another, and they use that against you. They manipulate you.
And that is why there is a societal statement that a woman's problem is a woman. And I reject this.
Yes.
You know why I reject it? It is just like I reject the fact that people think that men are wicked. I reject that. And I will explain. There is a lot of ignorance. That I am a woman and I hate seeing you sit there and do the work you do. It's not because I hate you, it's because I have been socialized to know that a woman cannot sit there and do what you do. Exactly. So the best way is to help me to understand that women too can do it.
That's it.
And it's the same with the men, that a man is always beating the wife, always thinking that he cannot supply for the wife. It's the way that man was socialized. He was socialized in a context where only men did things. So he thinks that it should continue. So we need to break these barriers.
And the women are not supposed to ask questions.
Yes, we need to break these barriers and get people to understand that everybody is a human person in their own right. One thing that is happening to us when it comes to rights, and I'm saying this to all of us here, we have to know our rights and we have to know how to claim them in a responsible manner.
I love the word. I like that word, responsible.
Yes, because my rights end where yours begin. Yes. If I want to enjoy my rights, I should not enjoy my rights by infringing on your rights.
Very important.
So we have to claim our rights responsibly, and you cannot do it if you don't know what your rights are. You cannot do it. There was a day I was traveling, and they were asking me for a transit visa in one of the airports. Yes. And I told them, I said, hey, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Freedoms, it said there that you have a right to change nationality. You have a right to live everywhere. So why am I in chains? Then I looked up and I saw birds fly. I asked, do you ask visas for these birds who fly from different countries to others? So for me, I think that, yes, I need a transit visa, but the way you should tell me about it,
the manner of approach,
the flight, the flight should know. When I'm buying a ticket from a flight, they should tell me that if you are passing through this country, you need
a visa.
A visa.
That's it.
They should not, I buy a ticket going to one country, you carry me to another one, and you force me to get a visa.
Absolutely.
So, and the man said, hey, I have never thought like this. So this example was to let us know that when you ask for your rights, you claim your rights in a responsible manner,
Yeah,
without
you're listened
infringing
to.
into the rights of the other person, they will listen to you.
Yeah.
And nobody will insult you. Nobody will hate you. The problem is we are not conscious of our obligations. A woman, if you are angry with your husband, that your husband is not providing food money, your husband is not giving you opportunities, when they give you the opportunities, how do you use them? When they give you the food money, what do you do with the money? If you are a man and you think that a woman is too strong, because the trends are changing.
Yes.
Nowadays, most men don't like empowered women. I say it, most men like me to talk with me, discuss with me,
Yeah.
but they cannot dare to marry such a woman
No, they say-
because she is too strong, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that we should stop those trends.
You should instead be
An
going for the
empowered
stronger
woman and an
ones.
empowered man will
Oh, no.
form a very wonderful home.
That's it.
Solid.
Those men who fear women who are learned, who are strong, who are vocal, my dear, try them. They are the most sober women. We did a gender analysis of working class women, educated women, and we realized that they are the most violated. You know why? We want to protect our family name.
Yeah.
We want to protect this.
Yeah.
And they are so violated to the extent that you ask a woman, you say, what is your name? Instead of saying, I am Gwendoline, I am a presenter, I'm a journalist,
Yeah.
you say, je suis
Mrs.
Madame this, I'm
That's
Mrs.
it.
that,
And
I
it-
am
it-
that.
it-
So
it-
can the man also say, I'm Mr. This, leaning on you?
No.
It applies to also the same situation
Yeah.
applies to when a woman is earning more than a man.
Yes.
Yeah, you start facing a lot of difficulties
Yes.
in your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like men are educating women, paying school fees for women, and women turn against them, nowadays too, women are struggling with their husbands and they turn against them.
That's it.
So why can't we just make the world a better place to live by just being real? Just being real. And I'm saying this to the young girls. Young girls, listen to me when I talk. You have to know that there is nobody who can live alone. Nobody is an island.
Thank you.
That is why God created man and created woman. We must live with other people. I like the way Gwendoline started this program by talking about the 3 types of love. We have overshadowed the world of love with eros love. Eros love is instantaneous love. But filial love and agape love stays.
Ever.
If you have your husband or your wife and you have agape love and filial love for that person, you are going to enjoy eros love.
Yeah.
Because your love is based on reality.
When I feel like we are going to be having a part 2
No,
of
no, no, no.
Midnight.
Seriously, you just spoke my mind, because when you listen to her talk, you understand that we have been going to the left instead of going to the right.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why I cannot thank you enough, Mommy Tilda, for accepting to come on the program, because I know that there are many, many people who want to continue listening to you and be part of your association, because
Yes.
it's an association that empowers
Yeah.
and that helps us develop.
Yes.
Maybe you tell us the contacts, how can we get to you, be it the
Yeah.
phone numbers or your social media platforms.
Yeah, to get to gender empowerment and development, if you want to go there by yourself, you go to Jovan's.
Okay.
There's a popular drinking place they call Duchess.
Yes, yes.
Opposite Duchess Lounge. Directly opposite on the story building.
Okay.
Gender empowerment is there. The signboard is there.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to get us, you go to Facebook. You go and type gender empowerment and development. You will get us.
Okay.
We update it every day. And you can also get me. You go to Moments with Tilda, or you go to Tilda on Facebook. You will always link you there. For contacts, you can contact on 670 984890 or 676 999515. You get these contacts, you will get through to the other people. And we also have a web page, www.guideonline.com. Yeah.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. As you all know, Midi Live is just for 52 minutes. At times we can push it a little to an hour when we have people like Mommy Tilda. But at the same time, we do know that when you have had a tip like what she's giving us this afternoon, you obviously want to listen to her more, and not just listen, but put it into practice. And that's why you have all the contacts that you can imagine. So
Yeah.
please try to contact her for more information and for more tips on how to go about life. It's especially in our different relationships. So we're going to say thank you once again, Mommy Tilda.
Thank you very
Lunch
much.
is ready. Please
Oh, wow.
have a seat.
I'm
Bon appetit,
spoiled.
by the way. And we're going to
Thank you
ask
very
Tati.
much.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
Tati, please comment te contacter sur les réseaux sociaux,
Oh.
le numéro de téléphone et tout. Il faut nous donner. Oui.
Wow.
Oui.
55 57 05
Ok.
C'est juste le numéro de téléphone.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Mais il faut qu'on crée les pages.
Il faut
hein, parce que
créer.
c'est très important.
Yes.
On va créer
Mom,
pour
you
l'instant.
go ahead so that you tell us what you think of
Thank
Tati's
you.
cuisine.
Ooh.
Et en même temps, il y a...
Just from the eye, it looks very, very palatable,
Okay.
and I'm sure it's also very tasteful.
Okay. Félicitations à toi, Tati.
Merci.
And Rostan, comment
Oui,
te contacter?
je réponds au 691 54 54 27 691 54 54 27 614 76 02 29 614 76 02 29 ou encore sur ma page officielle Rostant aussi Facebook.
Okay, merci beaucoup à toi, Totwe. And to you all, thank you once again. We're going to leave you in his company for another song and keep on watching programs on the Sierra TV.
Comme si je n'existais pas. Elle est passée à côté de moi, sans un regard, reine de Saba. J'ai dit Aïcha, prends tout est pour toi. Voici les perles, les bijoux, aussi l'or autour de ton cou, les fruits bien mûrs au goût de miel. Ma vie, Aïcha, si tu m'aimes, j'irai où ton souffle nous mène, dans les pays d'ivoire et d'ébène. Je prendrai les rayons du soleil. Ma vie, Aïcha, si tu m'aimes, oh Aïcha, Aïcha, écoute-moi, oh Aïcha, Aïcha, t'en vas pas, oh Aïcha, Aïcha, regarde-moi, oh Aïcha, Aïcha, réponds-moi. J'irai où ton souffle nous mène, dans les pays d'ivoire et d'ébène. Je prendrai les rayons du soleil pour éclairer tes yeux de reine. Oh Aïcha, Aïcha, écoute-moi. Oh Aïcha, Aïcha, réponds-moi. Oh Aïcha, Aïcha, regarde-moi. Oh Aïcha, Aïcha, t'en vas pas. Elle a dit qu'elle gagne le trésor. Moi je vaux mieux que tout ça. Des barreaux sont des barreaux, même en or. Je veux le même droit et le respect de toi. Le respect de chaque jour. Moi je ne veux vivre que de l'amour. Namusi Aisha wendo sadi Shlai Aisha desahai Nahi Aisha krisil hadi Shlai Aisha bes asawai. Oh Aisha, Aïcha, écoute-moi. Applaudissez un peu. Aïcha, Aïcha, réponds-moi. Oh